This video is on how to deal with negative thoughts and how to change your mind into positive thinking.
This is for the people that want to change their life, for the people that want to become the best versions of themselves, that want to create their own desired reality.
Our mind is the one thing that stops us from creating our desired reality and that obstructs our manifestations. It's also the root cause for experiencing negative emotions. When we feel bad, it is a result of whatever we're thinking at that time. Sometimes it seems like we have no control over our thoughts, but in this video I want to explain to you that this is actually not true. We do have a say, and we can change our mindset from negative thinking into positive thinking. Whatever we're doing, we always have thoughts accompanying us, and sometimes, or maybe even often, spiral in negative thought patterns. In this video, I'll explain to you how you can reprogram your mind from negative thinking to positive thinking. My name is Davy. I'm a PhD student in chemical engineering at the University of Cambridge, and in my free time I love to study anything psychology, law of attraction, the mind, even went to quantum physics of it. A very interesting and very powerful topic is positive thinking. First, I'll explain to you why awareness is important to change your mind from negative to positive thinking. And then I will provide you with 7 life practices that you can use to shift your mindset from negative to positive. So positive thinking overall leads to a happier state of being. So what happens in your brain when you override negative thinking with positive thinking? Once you have a positive mindset, what happens is that you'll start to see more opportunities in life. You'll start to see more miracles. You'll feel more motivated, and you believe more in yourself, which then creates a happier experience. And the law of attraction, when we are in a happier mindset, will manifest more experiences to us that make us equally happy. With a positive mindset, it doesn't mean that you would never experience any obstacles. It just means that you have enough self-belief to trust that you can overcome any obstacle and therefore always reach success. If it is one thing we have the capacity of doing as humans, is that we have the power to choose our thoughts. You initially might feel resistance to this, feel like you don't have any control over your thoughts, but there are actually ways to get yourself out of negative thinking, which I will get into in this video. But creating this awareness and training your mind to go from negative to positive thinking is a skill that definitely takes practice, and for most people doesn't come instantly, which means you become the observer of the mind and you do not identify with the mind. I think we can all agree on the fact that our mind kind of sounds like a voice in our head, maybe even multiple voices. It is the mind that is talking to us. I want to emphasize that this is a completely normal part of our human experience. But are we really aware of this voice? That voice is our consciousness or our conscious mind. If we are the ones that can hear the thoughts, we cannot possibly be the thoughts ourselves. So once we become aware of this, and once we know that these thoughts or voice or voices come from our belief system, we can understand that our thoughts are not by definition true. So even negative thoughts, it's just a negative voice that is in our head. And we understand that we don't necessarily have to listen to them or believe them or feed the negative thought. Let me get into it by providing you 7 life practices that might help you overcome negative thinking. First tip is rejecting and overriding all negative thoughts and negativity. So how can we actually do this? How can we get out of negative thought patterns? The first thing you need to understand is how thoughts work. When a thought occurs, it's nothing on its own yet. A thought only starts to grow and continue in a certain thought spiral is once you feed it energy. And how do we feed it energy? Through emotions. Once we start to actually feel the emotions as if that negative thought is true, we're feeding the negative thought. The negative thought turns into a negative thought spiral that generates more and more and more negative thoughts. So what can you do with this understanding? So when a negative thought arises, it is for you to understand that that negative thought is not necessarily the truth. It will only become the truth once you start to feed it your energy by believing in it. What we should do when a negative thought arises is try to talk back to the negative thought. Start to question it. Is this objectively true? Start to poke holes in a negative thought. You're not the one who is the thought. The thought is just presented to you, but it is up to you to question it. For example, let's say you have a very insecure thought. You think people might think negatively of you, or people are looking at you. Start to question it. Is it actually true? Are people actually looking at me? What is that based on? The thought of you thinking you're bad at something is the only thing that makes it true. You're never necessarily bad at anything. It is only when you believe you're bad at it, you'll become bad at it. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, once you've questioned the negative thought, the next thing to do is override it with the polar opposite thought. Start to say to yourself positive affirmation. So what this is truly about. So when the negative thought arises, we decide to not feed. We decide to question it. We decide to poke holes in it. We ask the negative thought for proof of whatever we're thinking or saying. And then we override it with a positive thought. We say the polar opposite of what we were actually thinking. And then we're trying to find proof for that positive thought. We're trying to give energy to that positive thinking. Maybe my work is good enough, I have already achieved XYZ. Maybe I don't look that bad. Maybe no one is looking at me, because if I actually look around, no one is looking at me. Maybe I am quite good at what I do. And start to find proof for yourself that proves that you are. Second life guide that I want to give you. In order to shift to a positive mindset, you need to constantly set intentions. Set intentions for literally every single thing you do on a day. Intentions are basically an expression of how you want things to go. Intentions are basically asking for a positive outcome of whatever you're doing. Intentions are a way to immediately shift your mind into a positive mindset and recognize the positives in even the small things. So you can set an intention for having a good day or really enjoying morning walk to work. You can set an intention for a cup of coffee, how it is going to revise you and make you feel better. When we don't set intentions, we sort of allow ourselves to be thrown around by all of our circumstances because we don't express how we want things to make us feel. We're just subjected to our experiences and associated thoughts. So by setting intentions before we do anything, we already shift our mind into more positive frequencies. You're just on that walk to work and you're probably stressing about what you need to do next or how your day is going to go or a meeting that you have. If you set your intention before you go on the walk to just feel more energized after the walk and enjoy, the last bit of free time before you actually have to start working, a completely different experience of that same morning walk. You'll start to look around, maybe you see a beautiful tree with some nice flowers. You start to notice the things that make you happy. You start to notice the positives. And you can do this intention setting for anything. What this intention setting does is that it makes you more aware of the beauty and the positives that are actually already in your experience, but you're often probably too occupied in your mind stressing about what is going to happen next. Third tip, living in the present moment and living mindfully. You might have already heard about this concept. There are spiritual practices to do this, meditation, but what is living in the present moment truly about? If we're not in the present moment, we're preoccupied in our mind, which then doesn't give us the time to enjoy things. Think about the things that you really enjoy doing. Maybe it is doing a certain sport or playing a certain instrument. Maybe there's another hobby. It is often things that bring us back to the present moment that make us feel happy, that take us away from our mind. So now we understand why being in the present moment is important. It is the only moment where we're able to be happy now. Being too much in your mind and being happy almost seem to not be able to coexist. We need to be in the present moment to notice the beautiful things that life has to offer to us. So what mindfulness means, using any of your 5 physical senses to tune in to whatever is happening currently. If you're, for example, on a walk, you would do this mindfully by looking around. What do you see? Notice the colors of the flowers. Notice the little dog that is walking by. What are you smelling? What are you hearing? It is about really tuning into your physical senses, trying to enjoy it or even just allow it to be, but become the observer. Become the observer of your mind and become the observer of your surroundings. Fourth tip, you need to practice a constant implementation of mindset changes or changes of perspective. What this is about is literally try to look for the positives in everything. Maybe you're having a stressful day at work. Try to think about what you're learning from it. Try to think about how great it is that you even have the opportunity to do this. If you keep reaffirming to yourself work is something stressful, you keep creating an experience where work is stressful and dreadful. In order to create a better experience, literally what it is about finding the positives. So what do you enjoy? Find the moments that make you feel good and focus on those. Focus on the positives. So when you're really dreading that work task that you have to do, just tell yourself, I'm really looking forward to it. I love doing this. I'm good at this. And through that mind shift change, you'll start to actually see that the experience of whatever you were going to do becomes more positive and enjoyable as well. Fifth tip is you need a different outlook on the journey. If you are in a position where you feel like there's something in your life that you want to change, or there is a desire or a goal that you're working towards, you need to change your perspective into enjoying the journey. Imagine all the things that you ever wanted in your life. Imagine it is all handed to you right now in this very moment. What would life then still be about? There is a reason for this journey. If you're trying to become this future version of you that is richer than you currently are, has more loving relationships in their life, is just in any way more successful, you understand that there is a journey towards that. Only if you enjoy the journey to whichever goal or desire you're going, you're in the receiving mode of it. You know, the energy needs to flow. Any obstacle, any hurdle in your journey is part of your growth. How exciting is it that as humans we have the capacity to continuously evolve and grow? So we even should take, obstacles bringing us to the next level. They're literally rising our vibration in order to become the person that has whatever you desire. Sixth tip, get used to that your brain assumes failure and reject that. So again, I've already said in the beginning, you are not your mind. Your mind is just your belief system that presents thoughts to you. And you're the one that can choose to consider those thoughts as truth and feed them your energy with emotions or not. Your mind is wired to only assume things based on what you've already experienced. If you're trying to do something that you've never done before, or there's no proof that you will achieve that, your mind is going to assume failure because your mind doesn't have any proof. Your mind is wired in a survival mode, trying to keep you away from danger, only thinking things are possible when the mind is seeing the experience of that. Knowing this, every time we question ourselves whether we're able to do something, think, okay, this is my natural survival mode software that is trying to keep me safe, and reject that. It's not true. You can create new experiences by redirecting your mind and thoughts. And if we fail at anything, that would have only been part of the journey. It is up to us to then not give up. That failure is a growth opportunity. Maybe it was just a test to see if you would try again and then succeed the next time. So change your outlook on failure. Failure is growth. Failure is a step up to getting you to the next version of you that is closer, or maybe even the actual version of you that has the desire of whatever you want in your life. Seventh mind shift change, literally assume the best scenario outcome for everything. Whenever you feel yourself worried or in doubt about something that is going to happen, feeling nervous, or you're feeling stressed about something, literally just tell yourself it's gonna go the best it possibly can. Because why not? Why would it not be possible to have the best scenario outcome? It is equally likely as the negative scenario outcome. Actually, the likeliness depends on how much energy you give either of these outcomes. So when we're worrying about a future event, we're assuming a negative outcome. That is what we're subconsciously doing. But then think about the opposite. Everything going right, everything goes perfect, the best possible scenario outcome. Either of these seem equally likely. Well, one that becomes most likely is the one that we decide to feed our energy and feed more thoughts and feed emotions. So try to change your mindset into the assumption of the best scenario outcome and try to picture things associated with that could happen that would make it the best possible scenario outcome, because it might literally become the best day of your life. Who knows? So those are my 7 tips on how to shift your mindset. I hope anything in this video was useful. Definitely leave a like and perhaps subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this type of content. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all my love.